So I want to say good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And so first of all, I would like to say sorry to have this conversation just before the lunch. Yeah, I understand you stay here for a very morning and hear lots of discussion. So I just try to concentrate on some summaries of what I want to say, what I want to share to you, and not take too much time. So first of all, and I still want to thank Africonomie for their glorious work and to welcome us here and to let us understand the consideration of all parties. So thank you, especially my friends Austin. And second of all, what I want to say today, I think it will be divided to two parts. First of all, I want to have a very brief introduction of China Africa Development Fund and its history and its business modeling. And second of all, because I'm in charge of the infrastructure and power area, I would like to share with you some of my ideas in these sectors. So firstly, what is the CADFund, China Africa Development Fund? This institution is established in 2007, just in the summit of China Africa, some high summit, and which is launched by the Chinese government. This institution is dedicated to supporting and promote the Chinese enterprises to have better exploration and better investment in Africa, and of course want to enhance the cooperation between Chinese and African enterprises. So with the total eventually $5 billion USD, so we just think about lots of areas we want to invest it, but most of all, what Africa countries prefer. This is what we priorities. So until now, what we invested into, just included into several areas. For example, the agriculture, the manufacturing, and the power, and the transportation, and the aviation, and logistics, and housings, and the industry park. Of course, and last is the minings. So actually, I heard in these 2 days, lots of my friends discussed how China and Africa, what their relationship is. So I understand. I think here I can just share with you what CADFund doing in the past 7 years. So I hopefully will maybe improve your feelings about the story of China and Africa countries. So just go back to the CADFund. In the past 7 years, we invested about 78 projects in about 33 countries, and the total investment we have been put into the countries is about $2.9 billion, and which we also just bring additional $15 billion FDI from China to Africa countries. So what we are proud of is what we have done to enhance the economic and social results in African countries. Of course, and also enhance some living standards of Africa livelihood and African peoples. This is what I'm proud of, and in this kind of areas. And next, I want to just share with you some business model of CADFund. Because in the past 2 days, when I talk with you, my friends, and we are also concentrating on some investment model of CADFund. So I hereby want to share with you these models. First of all, we want to be just minority shareholders of the investment of the project. So that means we are just financial investors. Usually we take 10% to 40% of the shares of project, and the size of our investment usually will be from $5 billion and to 40 million USD dollars. But of course, if there is some requirement of the project, we can just consider to raise our size to the project. So one of our projects actually is the size is 300 million USD dollars. So it's depending on case by case. And secondly, we actually want to we do not want to intervene the daily operating of the company. Although we just asking for some seats or chairs in the board of directors, but we do not interfere the operating of the company. And the third is we pursue some stable return of the project. Normally will be average maybe 80% more than 80%, but we also consider the risk of the project itself. And of course we are also asking for exit of the project. Normally we are trying to have an exit right, and we want to exit maybe 4 to 8 years after we have make the initial investment into the project. And another characteristic of our financial business model is we lead some Chinese partners. This is because what are we doing in our very beginning. So usually we'll introduce some Chinese partners into the project and working together with the local partners and to pursue the project into very successful. And the last one I think is we don't have some limitation to the investment stage. So what I mean is we can invest in very beginning of the project, the greenfield, and we can also invest in the maybe mature stage by M&A. And so there is our ways to invest is very flexible, just depending on the case, depending on what is necessary to the project. And in the usual cases, we will establish some vehicles, SPVs, with Chinese partners in some specific locations, such as BVI or Cayman and other countries. And so we will make our investment just by the ways of such SPVs. But in sometimes we can also invest in Chinese enterprises and use them and by the help of them to make the investment. And I think our investment, our means of investment can be to directly invest into the project by equity, also, or by some quasi equity. But we can also just make the investment into the funds itself, and by the help of the funds, and to make the investment indirectly into the project. So actually, I think our role in this project is try to be as actually the bridge between Chinese enterprises to African countries. So basically, we would like to providing some equity supporting to enterprises who has lots of opportunity but lacking of funds. And secondly, maybe we would like to just seeking opportunity to these enterprises who has money but they are not familiar with African countries. And also in the meantime, we would like to just locate or find some Chinese partners to Africa countries, Africa enterprises. And the last, I think the most important one is what we looking for is a long-term strategic partnership. It's not other than some short-term benefits and interest. So basically, I think what we looking for is a win-win strategy by ways of some market practice and international just practice, and to, of course, to satisfy the local requirement and local priorities. So this is what we done in the past 7 years. This is what CADFund looking like. And if you have any question, I can just discuss with you after this speech. So next part, I want to just share with you some of my consideration of infrastructure and power sectors. And because I do believe that currently the infrastructure is one of the most important areas Africa leads, and especially for nowadays in Africa, just lack of lots of monies to supporting the infrastructure and power systems. This is also very similar to the very beginning of Chinese opening up in about maybe 36 years. In that time, Chinese also is lack of infrastructures, lack of power stations, lack of all of the things. What have we done? So we just absorb the foreign investment and foreign funds to supporting, make money, priorities into such sectors and to supporting the infrastructure development and power sector development. And in such a way, we just guarantee the economic growth and the social development of China. So nowadays, we just want to share this idea, share this experience with African countries. Of course, to share with all of you, my friends. So in my opinion, I think currently, despite the lack of funds, I believe the Africa maybe has some challenges and difficulties we are faced, and we can have some. Actually, for me, I think there is some consideration can share with you to enhance these circumstances in African countries. First of all, I hope, maybe I believe, African government could just to diminish the limitation of investment and to just stabilize the policy and to stabilization of this policy to make it continuous in the very long time. Because if we're doing the investment, especially in infrastructure, there should be means or long-term investment. There is not just 4 or 6 years, and this means maybe in some time more than 10 years. So it is very important to have the policy contingents, which can strengthen the confidence of the investors. And the second of all, I think is the African countries maybe could just make ways to guarantee the reasonable return of investors, and this returns is very important for all of us. And the third of all is I think maybe because currently, as you understand, the Chinese companies, more Chinese enterprises, is doing very well in especially infrastructure sectors. And we saw lots of Chinese enterprises just go to the African countries to expanding their business in African countries, to be maybe acting as the EPC contractors, because they have some advantage of the cost, they have advantage of technology, and also they have the advantage of their experience when they doing such things in China. So I believe with these Chinese enterprises, and most important with the funds of all of institutions, we can working together to make everything good in African countries. So I just maybe suggest we can, CADFund can share with all of the institutions, all of their friends, some ways we can discuss ways how to cooperate each other, how to exploit the opportunity in Africa. Maybe, for example, we can establish some subsidiary funds together and use this fund to directly invest in African countries. By this means, I think maybe will diminish some risk of such a project, and also can just expanding our coverage to all of the countries. So this is some ideas, and so basically this is what I want to share with you this time in this infrastructure and power sectors. And in the last, I think Africa is one of the beginning of history. Human history. I think it's currently is destined to be a very glorious chapter of Africa to be. So I do believe all of us can just doing very well in this time being. So for CADFund, we are just welcome all of us, all of the institutions to working together, to discuss together, to expanding our market in Africa, and in the meantime to help Africa peoples to to improve their standards and their social economic surroundings. So thank you.